In this story from the New York Post, AI model Lexi makes $30,000 a month as a virtual girlfriend to lonely men. No, this is robo-phishing or something. This is guys who think this woman is real giving a bunch of other guys money.
No, Tim, don't paint every guy as some doofus who doesn't know that she's not real. I'm sure there's a lot of guys paying for this, and they know what they're paying for. And quite frankly, what's really the difference? They're both just pixels on a screen. Not like they're having real interactions either way. The reason guys are moving over to AI is just because it's better. It uploads way more content, and you'll get way more interactions with it than a real person. That's why it's just like a constant fire hose of sexual gratification, where with a real girl, you have to wait for however long it takes for her to get back to you. So no, Tim, most guys aren't getting fooled. They just move on to something that gave them what they're looking for faster.
You know, Andrew Tate, apparently, as part of the story as to how he was making money, he would have these women make profiles. And I don't know if this is true or not, but people have claimed that he would go on the woman's profile and sext with dudes so that they would spend more money. I don't know, maybe.
No, it's 100% true. Him and his brother did that, and they both admitted to it. Not only them, but also the girls working for them. It was a very clever scam that a bunch of these campsites were running.
But that's basically where we're at right now. So some guy makes an AI-generated woman. Other guys pay that guy to interact with the AI-generated woman. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to talk about the great filter, the answer to Fermi's paradox? How is it that humanity will destroy itself? Oh, there are so many ways. Of course, it could be a plague created by Chinese scientists who are experimenting with gain-of-function research. It could be nuclear weapons, which, in my opinion, are rather old and probably not the most destructive things we have on this planet right now. Maybe, just maybe, it will be rods from God, gigantic tungsten rods in orbit, dropped on the planet, wiping out every major city. Oh boy. Or perhaps it will be a bunch of men who no longer have children because they're whacking off to pictures of fake women on the internet.
And there it is. Look at Timmy just blaming the guys. And I got some news for you, Tim. This would be happening regardless, even if AI models didn't exist. This has nothing to do. It's dudes fapping off to fake girls on the internet. This is about women's hypergamy and how it's impossible to keep up. So instead of working themselves to death for nothing, they just substitute it with porn. These guys weren't going to have kids regardless. They are choosing now to have AI girlfriends because it's just much easier and it only comes with a monthly fee and zero risk. This isn't completely men's fault. It's mostly women's who now will only accept the top 10% and would rather die alone if they don't get it.
Jeez. Well, at the very least, what I think is likely to happen is that evolutionary pressure will persist, and thus the men who fall for these AI models and don't procreate will simply cease to exist. And those who are more resilient to it will survive.
No, what's really going to happen is artificial womb. We can already see that happening now with surrogacy, so it's not like some fancy new concept, and then men won't really need women at all, as they'll have their AI girlfriend on their phone and their baby cooking down the street. This has nothing to do with guys being more resilient to AI models. If that was the case, it's funny how all the resilient guys happen to be 6'5", with abs and have money or internet points, and all the non-resilient guys are 5'6" and earn 60K. Much easier to be resilient when you have girls throwing themselves at you. But for everybody else, they had to find a replacement, and this is it. First, it was the OnlyFans girls, and now this is just the next evolution to it. And really, there's no difference because they're both after the same thing. So does it really matter if they're AI generated or real? Because they're both fake. And that's what these guys are paying for either way.
You know those antibacterial things you can buy? You spritz it on your hand and you clean it. It says only deals with 99.9% of bacteria or whatever. It doesn't kill everything. And if you don't thoroughly wash your hands with it, the surviving bacteria, being more resilient to the alcohol, I believe it's ethyl alcohol, reproduces, dominates, and then the next time you try to do it, it's substantially less effective. It's evolution, baby. The guys who don't find girlfriends and watch this stuff instead, they're not going to procreate. But other men will find a way.
Again, you're just wrong, Tim. There's surrogacy and artificial wombs down the road. You're acting like there's no other options out here other than to find some girlfriend. We have one right now and even a bigger one down the road. It just amazes me. Guys like this will blame everything else but the real problem, and that women just don't want the average dude anymore. So now we gotta blame the AI models. Yeah, that's the problem. Not that these girls didn't want these dudes anyways, so now they had to turn to this. And it's not like this is anything new. Girls have been selling themselves online for years. But now that it's AI generated, it's somehow different.
The other big issue here is that women are going to try and compete with these AI models, and they're going to get surgery and other things to try and look like computer-generated women. Yo, we are in for a wild ride.
Is Tim just so out of touch? Women have already been doing this to look like their favorite Instagram model. They've been going to poorer countries to get cheap surgeries. And women can try to compete, but they can't. And that's the point, because these are the top features that people find attractive that next to no one has. And that's not limited to men or women. There are so many people now just conditioned to see the best of the best, and they think that's what they deserve. And since guys' only real chance of getting that is paying for it, that's what they're going to do. But I think you're wrong about women paying for surgeries anyways. Well, maybe the dumb ones will. The smart ones will just make some AI generated model of themselves, so there will be no need for any surgeries. And I'm pretty sure that's where this is all leading. Everything will just be AI models.
It's going to be nuts. Here's a story from the New York Post. If she looks too good to be true, it's because she is. A UK company has created a busty blonde AI model to communicate with lonely, lovelorn men. And she's already bringing in close to $30,000 a month. Oh, it's so tempting, isn't it? To make 30 grand a month. Think about what you could do. And you ain't got to do anything. There are accounts on Instagram that have created, it's so simple. You write a script to AI generate an image of a woman and then automatically post it to Instagram periodically. Guys will hit the like button and then you insert some kind of ad, bang, money. But you know what? Stay away. This is evil. The guys that are making money off of this, tricking and duping other men, is so awful. You don't want to contribute to this. Let me show you that. I'm actually really impressed with the video of it. I wonder if they have an actual human woman and they put a fake face or something. This is fake, isn't it? You can kind of tell this one's fake because of the blurring. This is so creepy and weird. But they can make a woman do anything. A fake woman on a video will do whatever they want the woman to do, and they're going to make money from it.
What I don't get, Tim, is how is this weird, but if it was a real girl, it's fine. This AI-generated girl is not doing anything different than one of the normal OnlyFans girls, and you're having some conniption fit over it. And I'm sure if you didn't know that this was AI, you'd be saying it's fine. You're acting like these guys are some predators, which they are, by the way. But what do you think the girls were doing before this? You seem to have no quarrel with them, but as soon as the guy's making money off of it, oh, it's all of a sudden a problem.
Man, Lexi Love, the brainchild of employees at Foxy AI, who designed the lifelike model to be a perfect girlfriend for many men, with flawless features and impeccable style. Lexi is breaking barriers and changing the way we interact with AI. With the blue-eyed beauty, while the blue-eyed beauty might be fictional, the feelings she espouses in her thousands of sexed-up subscribers are very real. Since her debut on the site in June 2023, Love has created a strong emotional connection with many of her paying followers. Some subscribers are even convinced Love is an actual person, with Foxy AI fielding up to 20 marriage proposals per month. This should be illegal. I think it should actually be a crime. I think it should be a crime to create an account for a fake person, charge money for interactions with that person. If it's fraud. I believe it should be considered fraud. They think they're actually talking to him and they're not. They're talking to some guy. And that guy is baiting them into giving up money. I think this should be illegal.
Why would it be illegal? This is nothing new that hasn't been going on. Do you really think most of these guys were actually talking to the girl? There was already a great example with Andrew Tate doing it. So do you really think the real girls aren't doing the same thing? They'd probably just hire someone to go through all the messages. So you see, there's never been any real guarantee that you're talking to her, unless you were in some sort of video chat. But I'm sure those cost a fortune. But I do think you're right that this should be clearly labeled that you are talking to an AI girl. But if you really think this should be illegal, you must think all the OnlyFans and cam girls must be illegal too. Because there's really no difference. They offer the same thing. And there's never been any guarantee that you're actually talking to them.
Or whatever, man. Maybe there are people who just like it. This fake woman. You know what? They say, yeah, but we're providing relief for these, for these lonely men. They're only lonely because of the sick things that are happening in our society. Porn addiction and now AI women.
Is that really the only sick things, Tim? Porn addiction? Not the constant rejection, even by fat or ugly women? Not being able to get a good job because it has to go to some ESG hire? Not every piece of media you see telling them men bad and women good? Nah, it has to be the porn, you're right. All this is are just solutions that guys have found in a world that doesn't want them. And you wagging your finger telling guys not to fap to this AI girl who's going to tell and give you all the things that you're looking for is not a solution, Tim. It's just a modern substitution like porn was in the 2000s, and there's no going back no matter how much shame you try to put on. So instead of blaming men with their AI girlfriends, why don't you throw some of the shame to the people who put us here, and the women out here who sell themselves for money or are too good to settle down for the average guy? That's where the problem is. AI girlfriends and boyfriends are just the band-aid solution in a world where men and women don't need each other.